welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to do my July TBR / Medieval-A-Thon TBR. Medieval-A-Thon was created by Holly Hart's Books, who I will definitely be leaving in the description bar down below. It comes with quite a few challenges. Basically, if you read 6 books, you become a king or queen, but you don't want to run around naked. So she basically came up with challenges so you could build your TBR around it. Basically, each challenge gives you an article of clothing. So basically, I've got the challenges. I didn't get the article of clothing, but I basically am a completionist, and so I have every challenge written down. So let's get started. The challenge is to read a book with a fight for the throne, and for that I'm reading The Stolen Throne by David Gaydar. This is a prequel book to the Dragon Age world. This involves Merrick and Logain basically trying to have Merrick regain the throne, and I've read this book previously. However, I want to continue on in the books in this series, so I would like to reread this one prior to doing that, and so this is my book for the fight for the throne. The next challenge is a book with a dragon on the cover, and for this I'm reading Dragonbound by Thea Harrison. I know that this book is a half-dragon romance. I remember finding this book on one of my romance book deep dives. The next prompt is to read a book that is shiny, and for that I'm picking Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I mentioned this in my mid-year book freakout tag that I definitely wanted to get to this as soon as possible, and here we go. This is about a sorcerers and a library, and I've been looking forward to this all year, and I'm super excited to finally get to it during this month. The challenge is to read a thick paperback, and for that I'm going to be reading Pet Sematary by Stephen King. This is a chunkier paperback because it is one of the shorter ones that I own. I wanted something that was a thick paperback but also kind of manageable. I was also thinking about reading a big chunky paperback, but I figured I'd give myself an easier chunky paperback since I'm trying to do Reading Rush at the end of the month, and so I decided to go with Pet Sematary. A Pet Sematary is about, well, a cemetery where if you bury stuff there, stuff comes back. And I've seen the original movie, original work, so I'm looking forward to reading this one, especially since I really like this edition. Next is a book that has yellowed over time, and for that I picked up The Great Trouble. This involves the 1854 cholera outbreak, and it involves Dr. Jon Snow. If you are new here, I am doing my thesis on cholera. This is a middle grade novel. However, I'm curious as to how cholera is depicted in middle grade work as part of my thesis, so I figured reading a middle grade book involving my thesis over summer is probably better than trying to cram it in during thesis time, so I figured now is a good time, especially since it fits for a challenge. So I'm going to be reading this. The next challenge is to read a book with red on the dust jacket or cover, and for that I'm reading the loosely bound book club pick of the month, and that is City of Brass. This is a book involving 18th century Ottoman Empire and magic. Basically I said, Murphy, I'm not sure what I want to read. What are you in the mood for? And we put those options in the poll because Dylan's been busy recently, and this one won, and it was kind of like an adult month, and so we decided we're gonna read this one, and I'm super excited because it definitely works with the theme of this readathon. So we're reading City of Brass. I'm looking forward to reading a big fancy fantasy book with Murphy this. The next book on my TBR is a book involving assassins, and for this I'm going to be reading The Last Wish. This is the first book in the Witcher series. The Witcher series, all I know is it involves Geralt, and this is the series that the Witcher games are based on. Synopsis on Goodreads says assassin. Amber is going with assassin is in the synopsis. This involves assassins, and so that's how we're gonna, you know, go with this, is how we're gonna read this book. I'm looking forward to this. It's been on my TBR for a while, and I'm excited to finally have a reason to read this one. Speaking of reasons to finally read something, the next prompt was Elves, and I'm finally going to be picking up the next book in the Legend of Drizzt series, and that would be The Crystal Shard, or in the overall series, but the first book in the Icewind Dale series. I have not touched this series since I finished the first trilogy. The first book in the second trilogy, but the first book that was overall written. I'm kind of nervous because of that fact. But I'm looking forward to getting back into this world, and it is set in the Forgotten Realms universe, which is a D&D book series. I'm super looking forward to it. I don't know what this one specifically is about. The next prompt is read a book with something pointy on the cover. For that, I'm going to read The Lost Boy by Christina Henry. This is a Captain Hook story. Christina Henry writes really dark fairy tale retellings. This one is about Captain Hook. I'm very curious as to how Christina Henry twists this one. And the last challenge is to read a book involving mercenaries. For that, I'm picking Kings of the Wild. Kind of funny that this prompt is mercenaries, and all I really know about this book is that it involves mercenaries, but this one is apparently hilarious and it involves mercenaries, and it's been on my TBR for a bit, and I look forward to getting to this one. So these are all the books I plan on reading in July outside of the reading rush. What about you? Are you participating in the Medieval-A-Thon? Have you read any of these books? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like what you saw here today, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a nice day.